In life, we all face moments that test our limits, times when we feel like we're drowning in struggles that seem insurmountable. It's in these moments that the temptation to share our pain with others becomes strong. But I stand before you today to remind you of one simple truth: keep your struggles to yourself. Personal growth, the kind that changes you from the inside out, happens when you face your challenges quietly. When you choose to walk through the storm alone, you develop a strength that others cannot see. But that doesn't make it any less real. You find your own way of surviving, and with each step you grow stronger. While vulnerability is often seen as a form of strength, it is important to recognize that not all battles should be shared. Your vulnerability is your power, but it's also something to protect. When you expose yourself too openly, you risk receiving judgment or unsolicited advice that may not help but might actually cloud your path forward. There are moments when it's okay to keep your struggles private, allowing only trusted individuals to see the raw parts of you. Remember, your journey is unique to you. Others might walk alongside you, but they do not experience the world through your eyes. Only you understand the depth of your pain, your fears, and your struggles. And no one can offer you the solution that fits your soul like your own determination can. Keep your battles close to your heart. They are your personal teachers. Every struggle brings with it the opportunity to preserve your peace. When you let others into your storm, they bring their noise with them: opinions, judgments, and concerns that do nothing but add weight to your already heavy load. Keeping your challenges to yourself allows you to focus on what truly matters, finding peace within, no matter how tumultuous the world may seem. And while it's tempting to seek external validation during tough times, true resilience is born in silence. It's in those moments when no one is watching that you find the courage to rise. Your strength will never be measured by how loud you cry, but by how quietly you stand tall in the face of adversity. Embrace emotional independence. You don't need to lean on others for support to prove your worth. In fact, each time you choose to face your struggle alone, you cultivate a deeper trust in yourself. You develop an inner strength that no external opinion can sway. Finally, guarding your energy is essential. When you reveal your struggles too freely, you open the door to negativity, to people who may not understand or may inadvertently drain you. You owe it to yourself to protect the energy that fuels your soul, and sometimes that means walking alone through your hardest moments. So keep your struggles to yourself, not out of fear or pride, but out of respect for your own journey. You don't need to explain your pain to anyone. Let your actions, your perseverance, and your inner strength speak for themselves. Personal growth is an internal process that begins within, often without any outward signs that others can easily observe. It's not something that can be given to you by others. Rather, it is cultivated through your thoughts, decisions, and actions. While external circumstances and challenges certainly play a role in shaping who we become, it is ultimately the way we respond to these situations, how we reflect on them, and the lessons we learn from them that lead to true personal development. The journey of personal growth requires us to face our inner world, the part of us that contains our beliefs, emotions, fears, and desires. It is this inner exploration that truly transforms us. External validation or recognition from others might offer brief satisfaction, but real growth happens quietly, often behind the scenes. It occurs in moments of solitude, introspection, and self-awareness, when we are willing to confront ourselves honestly. Only when we look deep within can we identify areas of our lives that need change. And only then can we begin to take the steps to evolve into a better version of ourselves. One of the most significant aspects of personal growth is the ability to overcome adversity. Struggles are inevitable in life, and while they may be painful in the moment, they are the very experiences that shape our character. However, how we handle these challenges defines us. When faced with difficulties, many look outwards, searching for external sources of comfort or guidance. But true growth occurs when we turn inward, reflect on the situation, and develop the resilience to keep moving forward despite the hardships. It is through the process of working through struggles alone, without leaning too heavily on others, that we build strength, clarity, and determination. Personal growth is also about understanding ourselves at a deeper level. This involves not just recognizing our strengths, but also accepting our weaknesses. Too often, people focus solely on what they perceive as their shortcomings and allow those perceived flaws to define their worth. Yet, personal growth comes from learning to embrace both our strengths and weaknesses without judgment. By accepting ourselves as we are, we free ourselves from the need for external approval. Instead, we can focus on self-improvement, taking conscious steps to develop and grow in ways that align with our true values and aspirations. At the core of personal growth lies the idea of self-awareness. To truly evolve, we need to understand our own patterns, our habitual reactions, our triggers, our thought processes, and the stories we tell ourselves about who we are. These patterns often go unnoticed because they operate on an unconscious level, but recognizing them is the first step toward transforming them. This self-awareness creates a foundation for change, as it allows us to consciously choose our responses instead of reacting mindlessly to the world around us. Personal growth also requires a willingness to let go of the past. We all carry emotional baggage, whether it's regret, resentment, or guilt. These emotions, while valid, can hold us back from moving forward. Personal growth means learning to release these attachments and forgive ourselves and others, freeing us from the emotional weight that holds us in place. It's about embracing the present moment and looking forward to the future with a sense of possibility. By letting go of the past, we make room for new experiences, new learning, and new growth. As we grow internally, we also begin to see the world differently. Growth isn't just about changing yourself, it's about transforming your perception of the world around you. When we change the way we see ourselves, we begin to see others through a new lens as well. We become more compassionate, more understanding, and more willing to help others grow as well. Growth is not a solitary journey. It is a continuous process that allows us to connect more deeply with the world and the people in it. Personal growth, therefore, is not a destination but a continuous journey. It is a lifelong process of learning, evolving, and expanding. It requires patience, persistence, and self-compassion. And while the road may sometimes feel long and difficult, the rewards are immeasurable. The beauty of personal growth is that it doesn't happen all at once, but rather in small moments when we choose to look within, face our challenges with courage, and make decisions that bring us closer to the person we were always meant to become. Vulnerability is often celebrated as a form of strength, particularly in today's world where authenticity is increasingly valued. We're encouraged to open up about our struggles, express our emotions, and show our raw selves. While there is merit in this idea, it is essential to recognize that vulnerability is not always a strength. At times, it can expose us to harm, emotional exhaustion, or even manipulation. The ability to choose when and to whom we reveal our vulnerabilities is just as important as the act of sharing itself. When we are vulnerable, we are showing parts of ourselves that are often hidden, our fears, insecurities, and emotions that we typically keep locked away. In many cases, this is a courageous act, one that invites connection and empathy from others. But vulnerability does not always lead to positive outcomes. Exposing our weaknesses can sometimes result in judgment, misunderstanding, or a lack of support. People may take advantage of our openness, either consciously or unconsciously, and use our vulnerabilities against us. For example, sharing too much personal information with someone who does not have our best interests at heart can leave us exposed to emotional harm or even betrayal. In such instances, what we thought was a moment of strength opening up and showing our true selves becomes a moment of weakness, leaving us more vulnerable than before. Vulnerability is not always necessary to build deep connections. In relationships, whether personal or professional, there are ways to establish trust and understanding without fully exposing our most private selves. Many people find strength in maintaining boundaries and not sharing every detail of their lives. This does not mean they are hiding something or being dishonest. Rather, they are protecting themselves and their emotional well-being. Sometimes, the choice to remain somewhat guarded is a sign of wisdom, not weakness. It allows us to assess the situation and decide whether the other person is deserving of our trust and vulnerability. There's also the danger of overexposing ourselves. Constantly revealing our vulnerabilities without discretion can lead to burnout. The emotional labor of repeatedly sharing our deepest thoughts and feelings with others can be draining, especially when the responses we receive are not as supportive or understanding as we had hoped. This emotional exhaustion can create a cycle where we feel the need to keep opening up to others for validation. But the more we expose, the more we feel depleted and unsupported. In such cases, vulnerability shifts from being a source of strength to an emotional burden, and instead of feeling empowered, we feel vulnerable and exposed in ways that can harm our mental health. In some situations, vulnerability can be perceived as a form of weakness, particularly in environments where strength and resilience are highly valued. In certain cultures, professional settings, or social circles, showing vulnerability may be seen as an inability to cope or a lack of fortitude. People may judge those who express their struggles too openly, viewing them as fragile or incapable of handling pressure. In these environments, vulnerability can undermine the image of competence or confidence we strive to maintain. It is essential, then, to assess the context in which we choose to reveal our vulnerability and determine whether it will serve our personal or professional goals. Another critical aspect of vulnerability is the need for a safe space to share. Not everyone deserves to witness our vulnerabilities, and sharing them with the wrong people can lead to disappointment and harm. Trust is fundamental when it comes to vulnerability. It is not about being open with everyone we meet, but about being selective and discerning in our choices. Vulnerability shared with the right people can build stronger, more authentic relationships. But shared in unsafe or inappropriate contexts, it can be a dangerous gamble. Finally, vulnerability is not always required for growth. Some of the most transformative moments in life occur in solitude, in silent reflection, or in the quiet resilience of working through challenges on our own. It is through these solitary moments that we often discover our true strength, independent of external validation. Strength does not always lie in exposing ourselves, but in the ability to confront our inner struggles and grow from them without needing others to see our pain or difficulties. By internalizing our challenges and working through them privately, we can develop emotional fortitude and a sense of self-reliance that is less dependent on the opinions and reactions of others. Vulnerability is a powerful tool, but it is not a universal solution or a guarantee of strength. It is crucial to understand that there are times when it is appropriate and beneficial to share our vulnerabilities, and there are times when it is wiser to protect ourselves and maintain boundaries. Vulnerability, like any other aspect of emotional expression, must be used wisely and in the right context to be truly empowering. When we choose to be vulnerable, we must also be mindful of our own emotional needs and the potential consequences of revealing too much too soon. True strength comes from knowing when to share and when to protect ourselves, ensuring that our vulnerability remains a source of empowerment rather than exposure. Every person's journey is distinct, shaped by an infinite array of experiences, choices, and circumstances. From the moment we are born, we begin a path that is entirely our own, one that will diverge from others in ways that are often impossible to predict. This uniqueness is not only what makes us different from those around us, but it also defines who we are and how we navigate the world. Understanding that our journey is unique is a powerful realization that helps us embrace both the challenges and the victories we face along the way. The road we travel is constantly molded by our decisions, both big and small. Our choices create ripples that influence the direction of our lives, and these ripples are not the same for anyone else. Two people may face similar circumstances, but the way they react to those circumstances will be shaped by their individual experiences, personalities, and values. The way we perceive the world around us, how we handle adversity, and the way we interpret success or failure are all influenced by our personal story. These differences in perspective are what make each journey so deeply personal and irreplaceable. One of the most significant aspects of this uniqueness is how we overcome struggles. Life is filled with obstacles, and each person encounters them in their own way. Some may face financial difficulties, while others might struggle with health issues or personal relationships. These challenges are universal in some respects, but how we respond to them is infinite. One person may tackle a problem head-on with confidence, while another might approach it with caution and hesitation. Some might find solace in seeking help, while others prefer to face the struggles. Regardless of how we choose to deal with adversity, it is our individual response that defines the nature of our journey. Our unique journey is shaped by the people we encounter along the way. Relationships play a pivotal role in who we become. Each interaction, whether positive or negative, leaves an imprint on our lives. These connections, whether with family, friends, mentors, or even strangers, help shape our understanding of the world and of ourselves. The people who enter our lives become part of our story, contributing to the lessons we learn and the growth we experience. However, not all relationships are meant to last, and this too is a part of the journey. Some people will walk with us for a time and then fade away, while others will remain constant throughout our lives. Each relationship, each encounter, is a unique thread woven into the fabric of our story. The experiences we accumulate over time also contribute to the uniqueness of our journey. Our personal history, our upbringing, education, cultural influences, and the events that shape our lives combine to form the lens through which we view the world. No two people have lived the same life, and as such, no two people interpret the world in exactly the same way. This is especially evident when we look at how individuals pursue their passions, careers, or personal goals. One person might find purpose in art, while another might find it in science, sports, or entrepreneurship. The passions we cultivate are often born from our unique experiences and the particular challenges we face. These passions give our lives meaning and direction, contributing to the overall narrative of our journey. As we move through life, we are also continuously evolving, which is another layer of what makes our journey unique. Growth, whether emotional, intellectual, or spiritual, is a deeply personal process that unfolds over time. We encounter new ideas, face new challenges, and undergo changes in perspective. The person we are at one point in our lives is not the same as the person we become later. Our evolution is ongoing, and this fluidity makes each stage of our journey different from the last. We can look back and see how far we've come, but we can never truly predict where the next phase will take us. This constant unfolding of self is part of what makes our journey so uniquely ours. It's important to remember that while everyone's journey is different, it is also valid. Our path is not meant to be compared to anyone else's because it is ours alone. It is easy to fall into the trap of measuring our success or progress against others, but doing so only undermines the beauty of our own unique experience. Just because someone else's journey looks different doesn't mean it's more or less valuable than ours. Each individual is walking their own path, with their own set of experiences and lessons, and that path is just as meaningful as the next. The uniqueness of our journey is what makes life rich with possibility. It allows us to carve out a space for ourselves in the world, one that reflects our values, dreams, and experiences. Our journey is a story that no one else can tell, and it is that individuality that gives our lives depth, meaning, and purpose. By embracing the uniqueness of our path, we empower ourselves to live authentically and pursue the things that truly matter to us, knowing that no matter where we go, we are exactly where we need to be. In a world that constantly demands our attention and energy, preserving our peace has become a vital practice for maintaining our mental and emotional well-being. The noise of daily life, the overwhelming expectations from work, family, social obligations, and even the pressure to keep up with the ever-evolving world of social media can pull us in many directions. Amidst this chaos, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters and forget the importance of inner calm. Preserving your peace is not just a luxury, it is a necessity for leading a fulfilled and balanced life. The first step in preserving peace is recognizing the sources of stress and disturbance in our lives. These sources are often not external, rather, they come from the way we choose to engage with the world around us. We are often our own greatest source of stress, overwhelmed by the need to meet unrealistic expectations, seeking constant validation, or feeling guilty for not doing more. It's easy to become caught in the cycle of trying to please everyone and to say yes to every request, thinking that our worth is defined by how much we do for others. However, this constant giving without taking time for ourselves slowly erodes our peace. Understanding the need to establish boundaries both with others and with ourselves is a key element in preserving our sense of joy. Another powerful way to preserve your peace is by learning to let go of what you cannot control. We live in a world where we often try to control outcomes, people, and situations in an attempt to avoid discomfort. However, trying to control everything around us is not only exhausting but also futile. The more we resist the natural flow of life, the more we invite unnecessary tension and anxiety. Accepting that there are things beyond our control allows us to release the burden of trying to force outcomes and instead focus on what we can influence: our reactions, thoughts, and emotions. This shift in perspective brings a sense of peace because it frees us from the weight of unrealistic expectations and the fear of the unknown. In addition, it is crucial to protect our peace from external sources of negativity. There are countless distractions in the world that drain our energy and disturb our inner calm. Whether it's negative news, toxic relationships, or people who constantly complain, these external influences can easily overshadow our peace if we allow them to. We must be selective about what we let into our mental and emotional space. While it's impossible to avoid all negative stimuli, we do have control over how much of it we expose ourselves to. Curating what we consume, whether it's the media we engage with or the conversations we participate in, can have a profound effect on our state of mind. When we are intentional about the energy we invite into our lives, we create an environment where peace can thrive. The practice of mindfulness and presence is also a powerful tool in preserving peace. Often we are so caught up in the past or the future that we forget to live in the present moment. We dwell on past mistakes or anxieties about the future, which robs us of the peace that is available right now. Mindfulness allows us to tune into the present, to appreciate the small moments, and to fully experience life as it unfolds. By practicing mindfulness, whether through meditation, deep breathing, or simply focusing on our immediate surroundings, we create space for peace to enter our lives. When we let go of the constant chatter of our minds and learn to simply be, we find that peace exists not in the future or the past, but in the present moment. Similarly, self-care plays a crucial role in maintaining our peace. Taking the time to nurture ourselves physically, mentally, and emotionally gives us the strength to handle life's challenges with grace. Self-care doesn't just mean indulging in pampering activities, it involves prioritizing our needs, setting aside time for rest, and being kind to ourselves. When we neglect our own well-being, we risk burnout, stress, and a loss of balance. By making self-care a regular practice, we replenish our energy and restore our inner peace. This allows us to approach the demands of life from a place of calm rather than frustration or overwhelm. Another important aspect of preserving peace is forgiveness. Holding on to resentment, anger, or grudges only poisons our inner peace. When we forgive, we release the grip that negative emotions have on us. Forgiveness is not about condoning the behavior of others, but rather about freeing ourselves from the emotional burden of carrying hurt. Whether it's forgiving others or forgiving ourselves, letting go of past wrongs allows us to move forward without the weight of bitterness or regret. It clears the mental space needed for peace to flourish. Finding purpose and meaning in life is an essential component of preserving peace. When we have a clear sense of what matters most to us, we can align our actions with our values and let go of the distractions that pull us away from our true purpose. Living authentically and intentionally creates a deep sense of inner peace because we are no longer wasting energy on things that don't serve us. Our peace is rooted in the clarity of our direction, the authenticity of our choices, and the alignment between our actions and our values. In a world that is constantly pulling us in different directions, preserving your peace requires intention and discipline. It's about recognizing the forces that disturb your calm and learning how to protect your inner world from them. It's about setting boundaries, letting go of control, curating the energy you allow in, living in the present, prioritizing self-care, practicing forgiveness, and finding purpose. By doing so, you create a space where peace can thrive, allowing you to navigate life's challenges with grace and resilience. Resilience is one of the most powerful qualities a person can possess. It is the ability to recover from setbacks, adapt to change, and keep going in the face of adversity. Life is filled with challenges, whether personal, professional, or emotional, and how we respond to these difficulties can determine the trajectory of our lives. Resilience is not about avoiding hardship or pain, rather it is about facing those hardships head-on, learning from them, and continuing to move forward with strength and determination. It is through resilience that we discover our capacity to withstand the storms that life throws our way and emerge stronger on the other side. The essence of resilience lies in its ability to allow us to grow through hardship. It is easy to see setbacks as failures or as obstacles that hinder progress. However, resilient individuals see these challenges as opportunities for growth. When faced with adversity, they do not become defeated or discouraged. Instead, they choose to learn from their experiences, understand what went wrong, and use those lessons to improve themselves. This mindset shift is critical because it reframes challenges as stepping stones rather than roadblocks. It is through this process that we build character and develop the mental toughness required to face future difficulties with greater confidence. Resilience also involves a certain level of emotional strength. Life often presents us with painful experiences, loss, rejection, disappointment, or failure, and these moments can feel like insurmountable obstacles. However, resilient people are able to acknowledge and process their emotions without letting them consume them. They do not suppress or ignore their feelings, but rather allow themselves to grieve, feel disappointment, or experience frustration. They understand that emotions are part of the human experience, but they do not let those emotions dictate their actions. Instead of staying stuck in negative emotions, resilient individuals find ways to move forward, whether it's through seeking support, practicing self-care, or simply taking small steps toward healing. A key component of resilience is adaptability. Life is unpredictable and no one can control the circumstances they face. However, resilient people have the ability to adapt to new situations and adjust their approach when necessary. When things don't go as planned, they don't give up or become rigid in their thinking. Instead, they find alternative solutions and remain open to change. This adaptability allows them to navigate uncertain or challenging times with greater ease, as they understand that change is inevitable and that their ability to adjust is what will ultimately carry them. Another significant aspect of resilience is perseverance. It is not about always getting things right on the first try, but rather about having the determination to keep going despite despite setbacks. Resilience is the willingness to continue pursuing your goals even when the road gets tough. Many successful people attribute their achievements not to innate talent or luck, but to their ability to persist through failure, disappointment, and difficult circumstances. Each failure becomes a lesson, each setback a moment of growth. Perseverance is the driving force behind resilience, pushing individuals to keep moving forward even when they feel like giving up. Building resilience also involves fostering a sense of hope and optimism. Resilient people tend to maintain a positive outlook, even in the face of adversity. They believe that things can get better, that their efforts will eventually pay off, and that they have the strength to overcome whatever challenges lie ahead. This sense of hope gives them the motivation to keep going, even when it feels like success is out of reach. Optimism doesn't mean ignoring the difficulties of life, but rather maintaining the belief that, no matter how hard things may seem in the moment, better days are ahead. Support systems play a vital role in resilience as well. While resilience is often seen as an individual trait, it is important to acknowledge that we don't have to be strong all our own. Resilient individuals often lean on friends, family, mentors, or community during tough times. These support systems provide the encouragement, guidance, and reassurance needed to keep moving forward. Having a strong network helps to remind us that we are not alone in our struggles, and that there are people who believe in us and our ability to overcome adversity. Ultimately, resilience is the cornerstone of personal strength and growth. It is the force that enables us to face life's difficulties with courage, learn from our experiences, and continue striving for better, even in the most challenging circumstances. It is through resilience that we realize our true potential and discover what we are truly capable of. Life will always present obstacles, but with resilience we can face them head-on, grow from them, and emerge more capable, more confident, and more prepared for whatever lies ahead. In a world where words often carry significant weight, it's easy to fall into the trap of believing that speaking about change, success, or values is enough to make a difference. Yet, as much as words can inspire, it is through action that true transformation occurs. Inspiration through action speaks louder than any words could ever do. Actions have a way of resonating deeper, leaving a lasting impact, and compelling others to take the same path. While words can motivate and ignite a spark, it is through consistent, purposeful action that we truly influence the world around us and bring about meaningful change. The power of action lies in its authenticity. Words can be empty, hollow, or easily forgotten, but actions reveal our true intentions and convictions. When we act on what we say, we prove that we are not merely talking about making a difference. We are actively working towards it. People can see the effort, the time, and the commitment behind every action, and this speaks volumes about a person's dedication. If someone constantly speaks about the importance of kindness but never demonstrates it through their actions, their words lose credibility. On the other hand, someone who consistently shows compassion, even without speaking about it, naturally inspires others through their behavior. It is the quiet power of living by example that leaves a lasting impression. Action also creates momentum. Words, while powerful, are often static. They have to be heard, absorbed, and processed before they can inspire change. But action moves things forward in real time. It doesn't wait for approval, nor does it rely on validation. When we take action, we set things in motion, creating opportunities, opening doors, and leading by example. People are drawn to those who take initiative and show courage in the face of challenges. A person who acts rather than just speaks demonstrates confidence and resilience, and this energy has the ability to inspire those around them to take action themselves. The ripple effect of one person's decisive actions can influence entire communities, workplaces, or even movements. Inspiration through action is also rooted in the idea of personal responsibility. It's easy to point fingers or to talk about what needs to be done to improve a situation, but it's much harder to step up and take the lead. Action forces us to take responsibility for our own contributions and decisions. When we act, we hold ourselves accountable for the results, whether they're good or bad. This accountability drives us to keep pushing forward, even when things get tough. Words, on the other hand, allow us to skirt around responsibility, as they can be spoken without any real commitment or consequences. But when we take action, we are fully engaged in the process, and that engagement is what inspires others to do the same. Moreover, action fosters growth and learning in a way that words cannot. By taking action, we put ourselves in situations where we have to problem solve, adapt, and learn from mistakes. This process of trial and error helps us grow, build resilience, and become more capable over time. Each action teaches us something new, and each step forward builds our confidence. Words, while they can provide guidance and insight, are no substitute for the experience gained through hands-on action. People who inspire through action are often those who have gone through their own struggles, failures, and successes. Their wisdom is born from lived experience, and this is what makes their actions so impactful. They not only talk about what is possible, but they show others how it can be done. Furthermore, actions inspire trust. Trust is earned, not given, and the most reliable way to earn trust is through consistent and meaningful actions. When we speak without following through, we risk losing the respect and trust of others. Actions, however, are a clear demonstration of our integrity. When people see that we walk the talk, they begin to trust that we are genuine in our intentions. This trust is essential in building strong relationships, whether in personal or professional settings. Actions create a foundation of reliability and dependability that words alone cannot establish. Action allows us to make a tangible impact. It's one thing to talk about change, but it's another to actually create it. Words can inspire ideas, but it's through action that these ideas are brought to life. Every significant change in history has been driven by individuals or groups who took action, often in the face of overwhelming odds. They didn't wait for the perfect moment or the right conditions, they acted with purpose and conviction. It is through these actions that movements gain traction, projects are completed, and dreams become reality. Whether we're working on personal growth or contributing to a larger cause, our actions define our legacy. In the end, while words can serve as the spark, it is action that fuels the fire. The impact we have on others, the change we make in the world, and the growth we experience in our own lives are all a direct result of the steps we take, not just the things we say. Inspiration through action is the most powerful form of leadership, as it leads by example, creates momentum, and fosters real change. In a world where talk is cheap, those who act inspire others to do the same, creating a ripple effect that can transform lives and communities. Emotional independence is the ability to regulate and manage one's own emotions without relying excessively on others for validation, approval, or emotional support. It is an essential aspect of personal growth and self-awareness, allowing individuals to navigate life with a sense of inner stability, resilience, and confidence. In a world where many people seek constant reassurance or approval from others, emotional independence stands as a powerful tool for cultivating self-sufficiency and emotional well-being. It is about finding strength within oneself rather than depending on external sources for happiness or validation. One of the key elements of emotional independence is the ability to understand and process one's own emotions. Instead of suppressing or ignoring feelings, emotionally independent individuals acknowledge and experience their emotions fully. They understand that emotions are natural responses to life's events, but they do not let those emotions dictate their actions or define their worth. They learn to sit with their feelings, reflect on them, and understand their causes, allowing them to manage their emotional state effectively. This self-awareness helps them to avoid overreacting or making impulsive decisions based on temporary emotions, as they can process their feelings without letting them control their actions. Emotional independence also involves the ability to detach one's sense of self-worth from external approval. It is easy to fall into the trap of seeking validation from others, whether through compliments, recognition, or external success. While feedback from others can be valuable, emotional independence means not relying solely on it to feel good about oneself. An emotionally independent person understands their intrinsic value and does not base their self-worth on the opinions or judgments of others. This inner security enables them to make decisions that align with their values and beliefs, rather than seeking approval from those around them. It frees them from the need to conform to societal expectations and allows them to create their own path, independent of others' influence. Another crucial aspect of emotional independence is the ability to set boundaries. When we are emotionally dependent on others, we may struggle to say no or protect ourselves from situations or people that drain us. Emotional independence requires the strength to establish and maintain healthy boundaries that protect our emotional well-being. Setting boundaries means knowing when to say no, when to walk away from toxic relationships, and when to prioritize our own needs. It is not about being selfish, but rather about respecting our emotional limits and protecting our peace. By maintaining clear boundaries, we preserve our emotional energy and create an environment where we can thrive without feeling overwhelmed or manipulated by others' emotional needs.